Find a penny, pick it up, all day long you have good luck. That was a lovely phrase that my mom used to say ever since I was a little one. Hey mijo, you should talk to drummers about phrasing. It's kind of important. I'm DW, welcome to the Drum Dive.
The Drum Dive!
So phrasing and drumming, how does this all work? Well, I like to start off with the definition of things. So let's start off with the definition of phrase. And the definition of phrase has nothing to do with Cosmo here. All right, later. Let's get down to business. Phrase, a small group of words standing together as a conceptual unit, typically forming a component of a clause. All right, let's dissect this. A small group of words. Okay, that's actually part of it. A small group of words is actually a small group of words standing together as a conceptual unit. So that means it would make sense. It has a concept. A small group of words makes sense. It has a concept. As they're standing together as a conceptual unit, typically forming a component, small piece of something bigger, of a clause. There's the bigger. So now if we just take this idea and just put it with drumming, it's going to make a lot of sense in some things. And let's see how this works. So if we take a phrase in drumming, a small group of notes pieced together, standing together as a conceptual unit. So if it's actually played in front of people, it would make musical sense. You'd hear a beginning and an end, and it would say something, it would resolve. You could repeat it and embellish on it, and so that part of notes is a conceptual unit, typically forming a component, which is part of a bigger phrase, or it could be just the one section of a clause, or a song, or a drum solo, or just any kind of piece of music. But that phrase that you say, and you end, and 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 you say, and you end, could become a phrase that you repeat and becomes a rhythm or a melody that someone can kind of hang on and put a beat to. And now you've got a musical phrase that as you just repeat it, now you've got music. Now you've got a beat. Now you could create transitions into the next musical phrase. So phrasing really isn't that big of a deal. Actually, in the drumming world, you could even say that a straight 4 beat, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, end of phrase. Shall we do it again? Boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap. Or do we want to repeat the phrase, but I want to add a few more words to my phrase, because now that I gave you an idea about what I'm talking about, maybe I want to give you a little bit more of the in-depth side of it, so a little bit more of the details. But in this conversation, it could go from boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap. Let's repeat it and embellish it. Boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, boom, tap, boom, boom. There you go. A little bit more on understanding the phrasing. So now let's just take it over to the kit and work out a few ideas that'll really just kind of show you how easy it is to find your own phrasing through sayings, through listening to lyrics. I hear birds repeating patterns all the time in my backyard, so there you go. There's a whole world and environment of ideas that you could just take the phrase, throw it on your kit, and turn it into actual music. So now let's just take my mom's phrase. Find a penny, pick it up, all day long you have good luck. Okay? We could take that and 1, 2, 3, 4. Find a penny, pick it up, all day long you have good luck. Pretty simple. Or, we could put a bounce and a swing to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Find a penny, pick it up, all day long you have good luck. There we go. And I can repeat that, do that over and over again. I don't even need a pad. I can actually just sit here and go, find a penny, pick it up, all day long you have good luck. Find a penny, pick it up, all day long you have good luck. Now I'm kind of incorporating that rhythm into my body, and I'll take it to the kit, and it can actually become something musical, something fun, something to feed off of, something to practice, something to put into a song. You get the idea. So enough me talking. Let's go sit behind the kit. This now will get added onto the kit with toms and everything, you know. Find a penny, pick it up, all day long you have good luck. But before I get into that, the cool part about doing this is now you're going to listen to other drummers, you're going to listen to music, and if you haven't already become accustomed to this, this is going to help you become accustomed to hearing phrasing. You're going to hear repetitive patterns that start and stop, and then they happen again. A verse, a chorus in a song, it's a phrase. It starts and it stops, and it repeats later on in the song. It becomes embellished, and you add a little bit more. So when you're learning songs, learning how phrasing works, you can learn how to play within the phrase, and then when you learn that verse, you've learned, half the song? You learn the chorus, you learn pretty much the whole song because you just do it again. Pretty simple. Now, then you add in the bridge, you got a little extra, but that's a whole other thing for later on, and we'll talk about understanding songs and being able to break them apart. That way it makes it easier for you to learn things over time. But it all starts with this, phrasing. It's all based off of a simple phrase. You need the foundation because then you can understand how the entire building, aka song, music, or anything was built. So now, let's turn over here, let's get into this. And basically what I'm going to do is find a penny, pick it up, all day long you have good luck. Find a penny, pick it up, all day long you have good luck. Yeah, I got a little carried away, but it's really kind of fun because the idea behind this is you let loose. You let loose on your kit, you get to hear how it sounds, you have a structure, you're playing along to a phrase that you could repeat and do different things over and over again. It makes for a great practice tool. So now as drummers, as we think in phrases, pretty much everything is a phrase. You know, if you consider, just a regular 4-beat, goom, tack, goom, goom, tack. A basic 4 beat is a phrase. It's a phrase that allows you to, embellish upon starting off. And if you think of it like that, in every bar or every 2 bars is a phrase, it helps you understand maybe learning songs and music, everything else a little bit better, because everything's done in 2s, 4s, 8, 16 bar bridges. If you think about that, it's all divisible by 2. So practicing things in a 2-bar phrase so you could hear where the middle would be, where the ending would be. And this is not verbatim for all music. It's just a great way to build a foundation to have an understanding of how things are put together, not have to practice to just maybe songs on, Spotify or whatever streaming platform because, you're following somebody else's format. You could create your own format and find your voice on your kit as you explore your sounds with nothing else around you except the song you're playing in your head, and it doesn't have to be complex. It could be just something as simple as something maybe your mom taught you, like find a penny, pick it up, all day long you have good luck. It's really that simple. Don't overthink it. Find something to have fun with, and then just play the heck out of it, because you're probably going to figure out so many patterns you didn't realize you could do. And we discover new things here, and we ingrain it by practicing it and making it repetitive to where it becomes muscle memory. In other words, the body knows where to go. We don't have to think right, left, blah, blah, blah. All we have to do is think, I'm going to go in this direction, and the body knows what to do, because that's being in the flow, being in the zone. When we're playing, performing in the songwriting process, you don't need to figure out your sticking. You can figure out your sticking and your phrases just by coming up with fun little patterns, little phrases you hear throughout the day. If you hear something that just kind of sticks with you, bring it home and play it on the drums. All right? So have fun with phrasing. Realize a lot of these things are not as difficult as they really seem. And happy drumming.
Find a penny, pick it up. All day long you'll have good luck. Find a penny, pick it up. All day long you'll have good luck.